During last night's debate, J.D. Vance talked about the Haitians. And unfortunately for him, he was in the presence of the only people in the universe that are capable of having the facts. And that is, of course, the American mainstream media and their moderators. So he got fact checked on the spot, like right there. Right there, they fact checked him. Now, any normal person would just shut the fuck up. I mean, if the American media is fact checking you, it's game over. There's no coming back from that. That is it. But what J.D. Vance did was unthinkable. He actually responded to the moderators and fact checked them back.
Sheer fucking hubris.
Now, you gotta understand, this is unprecedented. No mortal being has ever questioned the mainstream media like this. I mean, the mainstream media casts powerful spells in order to prevent this sort of thing. The comments have disabilities. They don't have forums on their websites. They never interview or air someone that disagrees with them. So this is like an unprecedented event. A human being, a pleb, has managed to question a moderator from the media. And they are seething right now. Like, they are absolutely livid. Let's watch.
Powers. And I actually think if you're a woman, that might be the worst moment J.D. Vance had, because he was going to mansplain right over that mute button. He was, and again, I don't...
See, I mean, the corporations did their due diligence. The multi-billion-dollar for-profit entity in America, they hired a woman. Like, they did the thing. They had a list of candidates, and out of the tens of thousands of people that wanted a job, they decided that it's going to go to a woman, knowing specifically that it will prevent this type of thing. Like, if a woman says to a man something, the man is under any circumstance not allowed to speak. Like, no one has done this before. And they're in a panic. They generally do not know. This is uncharted water. This is uncharted territory. Like what do you do with such a person? I think it's like in X-Men. Like, we have a mutant among us. Like, someone has this level of superpower where he can talk back to a moderator. Like, someone that MSNBC threw in the wage cage and gave them a job, and now just a random guy, not associated with MSNBC, like, this is important, right? Not even associated with the Democrat Party, has talked back to a moderator. This is insane. Like, I'm generally worried. I'm terrified. Like, if he can do this, what else can he do?
Pretend to know how everyone will react to this. I think that a lot of women in positions of authority that should command respect just by virtue of that dynamic.
Like, exactly. Look, if the multi-billion-dollar for-profit entity hires you, you automatically command respect. It's like one of the gods choosing you as the avatar. No mortal person should be able to talk back to you in that situation, especially if you're a woman. Especially that, like again, it's unthinkable. If it was a man, like if it was Chris Cuomo, I could understand like J.D. Vance talking over him. But this was a woman, and it's reminded to us constantly. It's beyond the pale.
Will see themselves as some dude that disrespected them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if I'm a woman and I'm watching this, I already see myself hired by MSNBC. I already see myself interviewing the vice president. And if the vice president candidate gives me shit, it just completely destroys your entire world. It destroys your entire worldview. It's like, how can we live in such a society, chat? How is this allowed? Why are you Americans allowing this? Why are you standing for this? Vote Democrat.
Them and talked over, I mean, there was a moment like that with then vice presidential in the Harris-Pence.
Now, you see, I'm not an expert, right? Because I'm not hired by the MSNBC. I didn't go to journalism school, so I didn't got educated. But I understand that the rules of this debate was that there's no fact-checking that would take place. And for some reason, fact-checking did take place. But again, it's still not acceptable. Like, even in this situation, a man should not talk over a woman. Like, this should not happen. At all. Ever. Even in a courtroom, right? Like, if the defendant is a woman and the judge is a man, the judge should still not talk over the defendant. There's no situation that I can think of where a man is allowed to talk over a woman. Even if there is fire in a crowded theater, all right? You wait for her to stop talking and then you tell. But, okay, if I was there, right, if I was a moderator and I want to fact check something, do you know how you can do it? It's basically how they used to do it up until now. And it's working and it's civilized and no one is going to complain about it. You just ask a follow-up question. Whoa, did you think about that? So, like, for instance, J.D. Vance is talking about Haitians coming illegally into the United States. And you want to fact check that. You want to say, no, Haitians are coming legally. So what you do is like, Mr. Vance, aren't there Haitians that are legally in the United States? And then you allow the man to respond, right? Like that is how other less developed countries than the United States of America, but more backward civilization. This is how we do interviews. This is how we talk to politicians. You don't have like a fact checker that implies the fact that the corporation has more power than the potential representative of the people. Or that the corporation has access to divinity. They're talking to God on the mountain, and God is giving them the tablets of wisdom, and they know the truth, right? No one else knows the truth. It's just like the mainstream media communes with the truth, and they just happen to know. No. What we do here is like reporters just keep asking questions. So like if the politician says something that is not true, they ask a follow-up question. See, this is how it actually used to work. But again, like America is progressive. It's in the name. It has progress beyond all the other countries. It's doing politics at a level that's difficult for the rest of humanity to understand or catch up with. So yeah, like you just have the moderators that can quote-unquote fact check one of the people there and then don't allow the person to have a rebuttal because they hired a woman to do the fact checking. See, they're smart. Like, if they hired a man, they wouldn't have had this argument, but they did hire a woman. So, yeah, no, this was the highlight of last month's debate, and it's viral, it's going everywhere. Even Andrew Cuomo was basically saying that, no, that probably won J.D. Vance the debate. Because when you do that, when you have moderators that are fact-checking in this manner, right? So, like, they're not just asking follow-up questions. Like here's an example where you can fact check, right? Like, let's say Donald Trump is saying that they're eating the pets, right? This is the new meme. They're eating the cats, they're eating the pets. The moderator can say, well, based on what are you making this claim? What led you to believe that this is happening? And he can say, well, I saw it on social media, or, well, there was this video. And then the moderator can say, have you check the authenticity of the video? Is the video something that has been done this year? Like, what's to stop someone from showing an old video from like 10 years ago? Or Donald Trump can say, well, there's police reports. And they can say, I mean, sure, but like how many reports? What is the percentage, right? Like, this would actually show a moderator that knows how to do their job, and it actually seems like a fluid conversation. It seems like a good faith conversation rather than, well, no, actually, there's no evidence. Well, okay, just because there's no evidence of something doesn't mean you debunk it, right? And just because you say there's no evidence doesn't mean the fact that, well, there are certain things that maybe you personally don't admit as evidence, but other people do. Like social media posts, right? Like if there's like 50 or 60 social media videos that come up in the same day and you haven't debunked any of them, well, that may be enough for some people to believe that the thing is happening. And then it's the bias, like not asking about agenda, asking about Agenda 2025, good people on both sides. Like, we don't pressure on that, but we pressure on anything else. It's like, okay, so only one group of politicians is allowed to lie. But in the case of tonight, right, when you have the moderators that decide to do the fact-checking in this matter, and one of the candidates is defending themselves, well, then it's one person versus three. And I'm sorry, but like usually people root for the underdog. Like if you have one person in a debate with three other people, that's wow, right? So this is why people are saying J.D. Vance won. Even Andrew Cuomo is impressed by this performance. And he's basically saying that what the moderators did is not okay. And he's right. He's right. And again, like, the media is so unprofessional right now that, again, you can achieve the same thing. You can still be biased. You can still fact check one of the people just by asking them additional questions. But the problem with asking them additional questions is that they can also answer, right? So like that is the issue, because they can actually give an answer that, well, you're not prepared for or you don't like. So they want to have everything scripted. They want to have everything under PR. Let me know what you guys think though, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.